That was 95 when Kalra was also killed and when Beant Singh was also killed.
Yeah, few days, 1 month's difference.
After all these years, we remember Kalra, not Beant Singh.
No, you don't remember, recollect. That's right, you don't recognize Beant Singh. Beant Singh's people who killed him are still in jail. That's where I also feel very strongly about it.
People, you have been pretty bothered about it. People have been talking about it. When you were the chief minister, I remember interviewing you when you had come to Delhi, and it was about you spoke about how weapons and drugs were being sent across the border through drones. You wanted something about this. The fact is, even now we hear the same stories.
The
Nothing
same
has
thing.
changed.
It's got worse, not less.
Last time I and Chitleen were traveling around, and you see people openly selling drugs. In the afternoon, somebody comes on a bike, couple of youngsters go buy stuff, go back. In the evening, we see videos of young girls and boys walking like zombies.
That is true. I remember once somebody sent me, this is some years ago, a picture of 4 young girls. I don't think these girls must have been more than 15, 16 years old. 4 of them sitting on a manji and smoking this stuff, whatever they smoke. But this is happening. And if it's happening to girls, God knows what's going to happen to the future. लड़के तो बहुत करते हैं, वो तो there's no doubt about it. The worst thing is this injection which they give.
Why do NRIs are constantly for the past, like now I've been watching it for almost 2 decades, constantly trying to support the Khalistani movement here?
You know, the further you are from home, the more you feel sort of this sort of feeling coming up. I've seen that. I've seen it. I've talked to people also.
We know we'll talk about this about Operation Blue Star. I want to know your opinion about your party saying that Operation Blue Star was an attack on Akal Takht. Girish Mahajan, Maharashtra minister, he came to Punjab and he said that in Operation Blue Star, people who were killed in that operation, that is killed by the army then, were martyrs. It's feeding into the same narrative.
Who's the chef?
Girish Mahajan is a minister in Maharashtra. Then Devendra Fadnavis went on.
Why does anyone? Do I talk about Bombay? Do I talk about something or what's happening in Maharashtra? Who is he to come in to understand first understand the psyche of this, then understand the system that worked, understand the situation which was in Punjab in those days. We know. I told you I was nearly shot twice. I mean, this was going on in Punjab. Not that I'm for Blue Star. No, that's no solution. I've opposed it. I resigned from the Congress on this issue.
So I understand you have some issues with Agniveers also.
Yes. I am against it. I am against it for 2 reasons. One, you cannot make a soldier in 4 days, 4 years. So 5 saal mein to we were not trained as officers, educated people. You think a little boy who comes with 4 years training as a soldier, who is he dealing with? He's going to be dealing with highly professional soldiers across the border in China. And Pakistan doesn't have Agniveer. They have these Tagda Pathans. And here you're putting these youngsters up against them.
As the former Yuvraj of Patiala, what is Patiala Peg? This Patiala Peg, all talk about Patiala, where did it start?
I'll tell you how it started.
Yeah. Gangsterism, drug abuse, narco-terrorism, deaths, unemployment. You talk about any problem. Now the latest is Satluj. Punjab makes headlines for all the wrong reasons. What has gone wrong with this state? I and my colleague Chitleen Sethi in Chandigarh are sitting with somebody, a leader who knows exactly what has gone wrong and what the solution is. Former Chief Minister Captain Amarinder Singh.
Thank you.
So, welcome to ThePrint. Thanks for giving us time. Before we try to draw you into this larger picture, larger problem, we would like to ask you about this controversy over Satluj, which in a way is tied to that larger problem, a manifestation of that problem.
You see, now, my views are very clear on this. Satluj has only brought out one issue. So, Kalra was a man who was going around in his area of Taran Taran to find out how many, he tried to calculate how many people had been killed by the security forces. And he used to go and count the people who were being cremated and then added up. Now, that figure couldn't be correct because, you don't know who's being cremated. Is it a youngster? Is it some old man, an old woman who's died, or somebody died of disease or something? That was what I think, that the figures that are being given out are a bit not correct. But he was not a terrorist. He was not a man who was even charge sheeted on anything, or even there's a case against him in the police. He was just picked up because they thought this is wrong and they just killed him. Now that I was totally against. That is murder. That amounts to murder. Um, but had that Satluj brought in the entire picture of Punjab, it would have been looked at differently. Here you are looking at one man who's been wrongly killed, and somebody has to pay for it, and 6 people are paying for it. They are in life imprisonment in the Ludhiana jail, I think. But otherwise, the hundreds and thousands, and not only from one side, you should do it what the security forces have done, and on the other hand, what the terrorists have done too, what they've killed, how many people they've killed, what they've been doing all over the place. If it had come in its entirety, I think everybody would have accepted it. But just picking up one point of a man who was doing his job, which he thought he was doing his job, which was bringing out the number of youngsters who were killed by the security forces, that I think left it to confusion.
So there are two narratives playing out. One is, of course, when we see all of the political parties here, they are promoting the film. We see this film is being screened in all gurudwaras with political backing also. The another narrative led by, say, somebody like Ravneet Singh Bittu, his union minister, who is talking about the other side. Why to talk about just one side? What about terror victims, and I mean, what were militants, what they did? Where do you stand?
No,
On this?
Gurdwara, they are now, the politicians are making, politicians take advantage of everything. Now, the Gurdwaras and the political parties are all picking this up and making it an issue. And why is it succeeding? Because there was already a feeling being generated in Punjab that uh, on extremism and all, and terrorism, and people like Vishnu, people are killing, and terrorists being involved in this various incidents in Punjab. Everyone knew what they were doing, and killings were, look at that, that killed that young singer Moosewala, and all these sort of things were going on. So it was growing, and every politician likes to take advantage of things. They don't look beyond their noses on this thing, and that's the sad part. That instead of us acting responsibility and trying to talk the way I talked, like I've been telling you just now, that he was doing a human rights sort of work. He was not a terrorist. So why, if they've killed him, and they killed him, that was absolutely wrong, and they're paying for it. 6 of them are life imprisonment. But on the other hand, um, had it come across the board, and what the police has done, I mean, there are so many cases of police I can count on, that what has been happening here in this case. Um, Nothing is happening to them, which is also going into the villages. They've done it to him. And what about Mr. Saini? There's that Multani case. His son has disappeared. They can't find him. Then what he did in the Saini Motors, which is near Ludhiana, that side. All, and I'm just giving you one incident of one man. How many? There may be. We were about a 90,000 police force. So let's say 100 people or so were involved in it, in the police side. Then, but look at the casualties. 1,800 policemen have died of Punjab police. CRP, PSF, and all. There's another 1,800. Army is about 1,700. Nobody gives us these figures. I tried to get them even after Blue Star. I couldn't get them. Gradually now they are coming out. So that makes a hell of a figure. If you add up, it's about 5,000 people who were killed. Now, how many were killed here? God alone knows. But somebody says, I know, I remember once a statement was made in Parliament saying 12,000. But I don't know how many there were actually in reality killed. But from what I talked to the police officers who now retired, my old DGP, for instance, Mr. Virk or Mr. Dinkar Gupta or Mr. Suresh Arora, they were all with me as my DGPs, who were the part of that period. And lots of people were killed.
So the film ends up kind of vilifying the men in uniform and tries to portray, it portrays actually, it's totally slanted on the other side about the abuses. Now that you see the way it's being watched here, what kind of impact do you think will it have? Because we are already talking about growing radicalism in Punjab. And then a
It
film
is
like
going
this
to
comes.
accentuate that. It's going to take it up. It's going to make it worse. And yet we are just starting. This is just warming up. I mean, it's only been a few days since this cholera incident has been publicized. But that is where I feel, that um, had they not, for instance, banned the film, let's put it, I think people would have even seen it and forgotten about it. Now, I haven't seen it, but now I will make sure I'll see it, okay, what it's all about. And like me, there'll be millions of people who wanting to see it, and that'll just provoke people because it was a complete foul up on the part of the security forces to kill this man. For what? What do you kill him for? Because you've gone to see some people, count how many people are being cremated. That's no reason to kill a man.
That was 95 when Kalra was also killed and when Beant Singh was also killed.
Yeah, few days, 1 month's difference.
After all these years, we remember Kalra, not Beant Singh.
No, you don't remember, reckon. That's right, you don't recognize Beant Singh. Beant Singh's people who killed him are still in jail. That's where I also feel very strongly about it. That you put a person, now of course times have changed, law has changed, life means 20 years or life or whatever. In those days it used to mean, I think, 14 years. And a person got away after 10 years, 8 years. These chaps have been sitting in jail for over 30 years. Is this law? Is this law that you catch a man, give him a 7-year sentence or a 10-year sentence and you keep him there for 30 years? ये भी गलत बात है ना. I think overall everyone should understand the situation and resolve it that way. Government of India has to do it, law has to do it. Let the government of India move the law, but they have to bring normalcy back by bringing all the people who were in this sort of scenario back to the forefront and let them go and let them get out. You can't hold a man like Kawada or somebody like this. What he did was absolutely wrong. It's shooting a chief. But whether you shoot a chief minister or shoot an ordinary man, it's the same thing. You're killing somebody. But you can't distinguish with this because he is the chief minister. Keep him till he dies. 50 years, keep him. That's no answer. The law is law.
So when this happened, you had the Shiromani Akali Dal Panthic Party, but not many years after that you were the chief minister. In 2002, you became the chief minister. All these incidents, I mean, I'm sure all these things must be coming to you, the repercussions of all this. So,
No, in my time, it was more on those firings that had taken place in Punjab, the Kotkapura firing, the Bible Kala firing, the Bargadi firing, the incidents of sacrilege, where pages from the Guru Granth Sahib are torn and thrown in the nalas and all that sort of thing. That had become your focus. And that's why you see, now Prakash Singh, it happened in Prakash Singh Bharat's time, in that gap between my two governments. And instead of him putting an inquiry himself, a special investigation team or something, and deal with it, he just washed it off his hands and sent it to the CBI. And I had to bring it. It took me 3 years to bring it back from the CBI after the assembly passed a resolution. And then I brought back a person called Harpreet Sidhu, who was a ADGP, who was with the Naxal movement in Chhattisgarh. And I asked the Home Ministry to send him back. I made him head of this SIT. And I said, I want the answers to all these things. But by that, it took 3 years to get those papers back. Then we formed 5 SITs under the main SIT and to start this probing. And Then my government changed, and then the new government withdrew the things. Now, though it's not withdrawn in the sense that you can't at this stage completely wipe it out, but pressure on this had stopped. And otherwise, you could have easily found out who's done these things and penalized them. Then their tempers would have cooled a bit in Punjab. Not gone completely, but certainly cooled. These are the when you don't do something and when you try to cover up on these issues, then I'm afraid tempers will heat up. Punjabi by and large is a hot-hearted person, and when something like this happens, he reacts. We've seen it through history. It's nothing limited to these incidents, but he will react. But you do it. As I was saying, had you shown on this Satluj all these other incidents which have taken place by the terrorists, you know what a terrorist is to do? Groups, 4, 5, 6 boys or something. They used to go to somebody's house at night and say, knocked on the door and we opened, called the lady of the house, roti bana, hamare liye khana bana. They make the khana. We are going to sleep here, put our beds out, and we are going to sleep here. And if there was a young lady there, there would be cases of rape. Now, these things, that actually was one thing that started turning Punjab against them. This particular incident, the things which were going. Second thing was the sympathy of the constable in the early when it started was with the youngsters, was with the terrorists. Then they started killing the police families. That turned the police, and in the villages it turned them against what they were doing in these homes, and then things started. Then the police and the security force got the upper hand.
How difficult was it to be a politician in those times?
Well, I was nearly shot twice, so these things happen, part of life. You have to. Once it was quite interesting. We had an MLA called Balwant Saral. It's Hoshiarpur, it's near Saral. And he called us for some public meeting in the peak of that election, which was eventually, I think, cancelled. And so I had gone there with Amarinder Singh was our speaker, and we used to travel mostly together. And we had lunch with Balwant, and it was one of those old houses with one gate, two gates. So he told me, he said, somebody wants to see me, I'm going to see him. This chap will take you to where the public meeting is, and just sit there so that people see you while everything is going on. And when we sat there for 5 minutes, and somebody came and said he's been killed. Had we gone with him on the other side, we would be also in the shoot. These things were happening, all of us.
So coming back to the larger picture I was talking about, in my 30 years of journalistic career, I might have interacted with a lot many chief ministers, and I must say, I never found somebody so personally perturbed about the state of affairs in his state, even when you are the chief minister, and when you are not. You have been very perturbed about how things are changing in Punjab.
Well, we are a border state. Pakistan always has, I found it difficult to sort of put together when I went to Pakistan twice as chief minister. I was asked to go there by the prime minister. One was interestingly, Punjab Assembly in Pakistan, you can't speak Punjabi. So somebody had, one of the MLAs there had taken it as an issue, and he wrote to me to come. I asked the PM, Manmohan Singh ji, साथ जरूर जाओ. PM को उसको भी मिल लेना, Chief Minister को भी, Musharraf को भी मिल लेना सब. So I had gone for that. And but when you went into town, and for instance, I was going through, they took us from Wagah, then they drove us past the Ishogil Canal, where we fought in 65. We were there. And on the corner, I saw a memorial. So I told the driver, I said, look now. So I went to look at the memorial. I couldn't see a filthier memorial in my life. And I told the chief minister, I said, ये लोग तो आपके लिए मरे हैं, जरा साफ तो कर दिया करो इसको. So when I was coming back, suddenly it was all spruced up and all that. So I did it. So the army calls the shots. Army does everything there. And that they have a different attitude. And the reason is simple, because if you go as a captain, they give you a flat. They give you as a major, they give you a house. Colonel, a bigger house. By the time you become a general, you got a farmhouse also. So ऐसी बातें. So they will not let peace come. The common man is totally different. Anyone who goes, like I went once, I'd heard of my hobby is also cooking now. So I was asked to go. I said, I want to see the food street, what they do here and all. So that day, this was the last day, so there was the chief minister's dinner. उसके बाद वो कहते अब जाओ 11-12 बज गए रात के. So we went. And when I was walking down, there were benches there and there were these youngsters from universities sitting around. So I went and sat with one group and I asked them, and they started chatting. And they were very chatty on everything. And suddenly they shut up. So I said, what has happened? And I looked behind me, there was some security intelligence fellow. Must have given them a dirty look for talking too much. And they just closed up. But otherwise, the attitude in the bazaars where we went and all was totally friendly. So that, unfortunately, has the situation of Pakistan. But as long as the army is there, which is going to call the shots, Punjab is going to be their butt for various reasons. One, we are a neighbor. Secondly, if they disturb the neighborhood, and that they feel their own security lies in that. Thirdly, you got these our defense forces, a lot of Punjabi boys, and they would like that to happen. Some that they should work them up, and like these incidents which they are doing in situations in working now on Nankana Sahib, then they are working on Punjab Sahib, doing in Parkarma and all. They are trying to provoke this, bring the Sikhs up on that issue. So they will continue to do that, and in the meantime, supply them with weapons and stories and whatever it is. I was actually quite interested to see, not only in London when I was there, but here, all these Pakistani films are coming out now. And they probably give these boys and all in the villages a feeling of how things are in Pakistan and how good they are and how bad they are in India.
Here
And
in Punjab.
इधर इधर इसको देखो टीवी पे पाकिस्तान फिल्म्स आ रही हैं. In
They're
London,
available on the internet.
sorry?
They're available on the mobile phones also. So you can see
Also,
those
so these
Pakistani
boys see them.
dramas and all that.
Of course, they don't give, they do talk about India in it, but not in a derogatory fashion to that extent, but certainly, yes, anti-Indian. And the themes are based like this, like a terrorist chap is sent to India to work here and what happens to him, and or those sort of stories they make out.
People, you have been pretty bothered about it. People have been talking about it. When you were the chief minister, I remember interviewing you when you had come to Delhi, and it was about you spoke about how weapons and drugs were being sent across the border through drones. You wanted something about this. The fact is, even now we hear the same stories.
The
Nothing
same
has
thing.
changed.
It's got worse, not less. Um, in my time when it started, my first government, that time the drones hadn't started to that extent. That time it was going under the wire or going across the river. They have those buffalo skins where they sort of people paddle across, attached to them like life rafts, and they used to carry weapons across and whatever else was, drugs and all. Then the small drones started coming, carrying about 4 or 5 kilos. They would carry heroin, they would carry counterfeit currency, and they would carry a pistol and ammunition and all. Then they started growing in capacity and in endurance also. And in capacity, they had come to a point where they could carry a couple of AK-47s, many magazines loaded. A lot of heroin was their main sort of cargo to spoil us. They wanted to spoil the youth of the border. It suits them if the Punjabi youth is spoiled. So they were doing this, and weapons, of course. And when I left the government in the end of 21, The last one we found was at 40-something kilometers, drones. And not only in distance, but in numbers. Every day there were drones, every day. And I used to go and talk to the BSF people and others and all. One night I remember my DGP rang me up, 3 o'clock in the morning. He said, "Sir, we got information that a drone has been dropped in front of one of our MLA's houses. And there they have also planted a mine. So people were being, by that time, uh, brought into the circuit to actually operate, which means our boys were operating with their chaps. And because they were not coming across, they were sending it across, informing our boys, and they would do it. What they had done in front of his main door, they had planted a mine. So I rang him up at 3 in the morning. I said, look, he's now in BJP with us. His father used to be Speaker of the House. So I said, don't go from that, lock that door, make sure none of your people go from there. Use some back entrance or something and get out. Tomorrow morning, the bomb disposal people are coming. And they came, and the army came and cleared that mine. This was what was happening.
Last time I and Chitleen were traveling around, and you see people openly selling drugs. In the afternoon, somebody comes on a bike, couple of youngsters go buy stuff, go back. In the evening, we see videos of young girls and boys walking like zombies. So
That is
what's-
true. I remember once somebody sent me, this is some years ago, a picture they had taken from the television, little half a minute or 1 minute thing, of 4 young girls. I don't think these girls must have been more than 15, 16 years old. 4 of them sitting on a manji and smoking this stuff, whatever they smoke. But this is happening. And if it's happening to girls, God knows what's going to happen to the future. लड़के तो बहुत करते हैं, वो तो there's no doubt about it. The worst thing is this injections which they give, this heroin and the other, whatever they do, some chemicals they do.
So, sir, you have joblessness, you have drug problem, and then you have growing radicalism. I mean, it all put together,
It's all a
sounds scary.
combination. It's a combination. Well, I don't know. This has to be now dealt with at the national level in a very strong manner. And one, of course, has to be anti-drone technology, because that is the main thing. Along the road, along the border, you're quite secure from the security forces point of view. But drones, you can't. If something, everyone is not sitting in every village, any policeman. And 45 miles is from here would be somewhere past Ambala. So it's just happening, and it'll have to be drones and it'll have to be dealt with. And they come from Pakistan, so we should have an anti-drone system working along the border which deals with them and destroys them before they come. We're doing it in Kashmir. Why can't we do it here? And not only here, Rajasthan. Rajasthan is one of the places that they can enter quite well, effectively. And Rajasthan is so this whole belt needs to be properly covered by drones.
So, how do you explain this rise of or growth in radicalism here, which gets manifested probably as we look at it, it may be something different. The election of somebody like Amritpal Singh or Sarabjit Singh, they're getting elected as MPs. I mean, is it a manifestation of growing radicalism or is it just an aberration?
Well, no, there is a certain section which is still radicalized. There's no, if we say that it's one person doing it by himself, no. I think it is there is a feeling in amongst the younger element, and that is where I say that had you have pictures, if you make pictures, forget about this. Satluj is now at its peak around in Punjab, but those type of films, and then you portray what has happened in Punjab. Because today 50% of Punjab was born then. In 1984, this Bittu, who's now making a lot of noise, this minister, he was 2 years old. In that, they don't know anything what is happening. And This sort of generation which has come up was not even born, and they only see and hear what they see on the screen. So I think the screen will have to be controlled to some extent. You are doing it in Kashmir. Why can't you do it here? There are 4 or 5 good films I've seen on Kashmir, which I think certainly would have affected the average Kashmiri, and he would have thought, at least put it in his mind as to what is happening here. Here you are showing it the other way around. You are showing only that what you think as what people would view this Satluj as what was happening in the whole of Punjab, not in the Khalada incident. It would go to that this was happening in every village because then people start talking. I've seen older generation on the television talking. Etaji Hundasi, so many were killed here and so many were killed there, because they want to come on the film and they want to see the picture on the screen. That's why they say it. Not that it happened, but a lot of things did happen. And what happened? And then I think, if you ask me, it's not that far gone. I think a commission should be put up today. A citizens commission, or put any commission. Don't put a commission of policemen or a commission of somebody. Get a good panel of judiciary and let them go into this whole thing. Let them hear the other side of it, other than what they see on the screen.
Into one particular case, or
Go into in the whole thing.
All
What happened in
extrajudicial
Punjab?
killings,
What happened in Punjab?
allegations of extrajudicial.
And when the judiciary, a good judiciary, who are very eminent judges, who everyone knows, there are a lot of eminent judges here, may unka team banao ek, and put them in to see what happened, what did the Punjab police do wrong, and whoever it is, they should be prosecuted. If you kill somebody, there's no time limit to it. If you do wrong things, there's no time limit to it. Similar is the thing with the boys. If anyone's done it, bring them in front of the commission, let the commission decide. And similarly, the security forces and whoever else it may be. Don't then maybe people will start understanding. आज नहीं देख रहे. आज तो they are thinking that this was the whole of Punjab, all 1,300 and 200, 30,200 villages were all the targets of the security forces. And all of us all the youngsters were killed.
we know we'll talk about this about Operation Blue Star. I want to know your opinion about your party saying that Operation Blue Star was an attack on Akal Takht. Girish Mahajan, Maharashtra minister, he came to Punjab and he said that in Operation Blue Star, people who were killed in that operation, that is killed by the army then, were martyrs. It's feeding into the same narrative. I mean,
Who's the chef?
Girish Mahajan, he's a minister in Maharashtra. Then Devendra Fadnavis went on.
Why does anyone? Do I talk about Bombay? Do I talk about something or what's happening in Maharashtra? Who is he to come in and to understand the psyche of this, then understand the system that worked, understand the situation which was in Punjab in those days. We know. I told you I was nearly shot twice. I mean, this was going on in Punjab. Not that I'm for Blue Star. No, that's no solution. I've opposed it. I resigned from the Congress on this issue, because that you can't go. I think by provoking religion, you don't resolve a problem. And this is religious provocation. And this is no way of doing it. But where you went wrong, that the negotiations which were going on, which I was part of also, with Longowal and with Bhindrawale, that should have been concluded. Had that been concluded, you wouldn't have had a Blue Star. And what was it getting stopped on? Frontier Mail should be called Darbar Sahib Express. What's wrong in that? Or something else should be done. Some issues like these were coming up. In the end, by the time you came to Blue Star, we concluded this thing about Frontier Mail, for instance. That was the first issue. And when I went back and told the Akalis with Prakash Singh, this is no longer an issue. I said, what do you mean? You've been for 1 month, we've been talking on this, only on that. Neji, now the reason why we can't agree on it is because everyone in that would be smoking. You have to stop the smoking. I said, how can we do that? How can you tell all the trains in India not to have cigarettes in them? I mean, aap logically could socho to say, you only want to go on like this. Then, then what my point was, it was gradually escalating. And by that time, Bhindrawale had taken over the reins. And if anyone used to go and ask Bhindrawale if this is right and that is right. And I dealt with Bhindranwale, I found him quite reasonable. But who was not reasonable was the Akali Dal. Prakash Singh Badal, Toda, they would not. There was a trio there. Longowal was the boss, but he never took a decision. He used to, whenever I used to discuss it with them, he'd look at Toda, he'd look at Badal. If they said yes, he would say yes. If they said no, he'd say no. He was that sort of a guy. But Badal called the shots, and Toda was amenable. Badal didn't. Felt that he had to have a macho image in Punjab, and that sort of thing he tried to keep going, and landed us in the soup. I felt Bhindranwale at that stage would have agreed, because I must have had at least 50, 60 meetings with him. I used to earlier on. He used to come to Punjab. He used to come to Patiala. We used to meet in a place called Channo and have our discussions, whatever they were. And then from 82, I think he went into Guru Nanak Niwas. Then I used to go at night at 1 o'clock and meet him up there, come down 3 o'clock. You see, look at this situation then. At 3 o'clock, I'd come down. Particularly, I should choose it because that was the time that the Guru Granth Sahib used to be brought from the Akal Takht to the Harmandir Sahib. So, to pay my respects. And 80% of the people who were going around washing the parkarma every night were Hindus. That was the situation. ये तो बाद में इन्होंने बिगाड़ दिया सब कुछ.
So you're talking about Operation Blue Star. Okay, yeah, you resigned from the Congress. You resigned as an MP. But before that operation happened, did Indira Gandhi
I
involve you?
also resigned from Parliament.
From Parliament, of course,
Both
yeah,
also.
from Lok Sabha. Did the Prime Minister involve you or inform you in any way? Because you were Rajiv Gandhi's friend, he brought you
No,
into
no,
politics.
that was not the
And you were an
reason.
MP also.
I'll tell you what happened. Akali Dal brought the Anandpur Sahib resolution. Okay, it was drafted in 73 and finally approved in 78 in Ludhiana when Jagdev Singh Talwandi was the president. But when it was drafted, there was a 42-point program which was sent to, was written, let's say. Then Mrs. Gandhi set up a team. She gave this task to Swaran Singh. Swaran Singh took on board Balwant Singh, who was the finance minister, and Comrade Harkishan Singh Sujit. These three came on board. And they were negotiating, and from 42 it was cut down to 20 or 22 or something. And then Swaran Singh had told Mr. Gandhi that I will talk to the Akalis, I will do this, but what I agree with them, you have to endorse. तो वहाँ क्या हुआ? Some issue had come up, I can't remember now, and Mr. Gandhi said no. So Swaran Singh said, here, appoint somebody else. I was sitting in the Central Hall of Parliament, and I got a chit from Dhawan to say, okay, PM wants to see you. So I went to her office in Parliament. She said, you know Longowal? I said, yes, ma'am. How do you know him? I said, he's from my mother's village called
That was 80s.
Sorry?
That was, which year was this?
80 or 81. 78 में तो pass हो गया था Anandpur Sahib. And I was elected in 80.
80, yeah.
So it must be then 80, 81. That time. So she said, can you make her? I said, of course. He calls my mother Bhuaji, in fact. And so I said, I can talk to Longowal. There's no problem. And he used to actually work in Barnala on our ancestor Baba Singh had built a langar which was open 24 hours of the day throughout the year. And those chulas were still going strong now, 200 years later. And he used to do the seva there. So then, do you know Mr. Pindrasan Pindramali? I said, no, ma'am, I don't know. You must be knowing him because I'm told you know him. I said, no, I have never met him. I don't know. I know of the Damdami Taksal, and I knew Sant Kartar Singh, who was the one before him, who was killed in a car accident. And then they made Janelle Singh Bindrawani. I said, no, I don't know, but he's a Sidhu. I said, millions of Sidhus, Doesn't mean I know every Sidhu in the world. So she said, "Well, can you make contact?" I said, yes. So then I told Simranjit Singh Man. He was SSP Faridkot and he was very close to the sons. So I said, can you make contact? He said, I will. I'll arrange a meeting. He couldn't go because he's in the police. He sent his father with me. My brother, me, and his father went to meet him at his village for the first time. That's how I got to know him. And then we got on very well. Afterwards, he was very open. I found him getting harder as time passed. And earlier on, no. Earlier on, he was like you and me talking. And he would agree to things. And he never asked for Khalistan. In fact, somebody asked him once, not in my presence, about Khalistan, and he says, I don't want Khalistan. They want to give it, they can give it, but I don't want it. That was his attitude. But later on, of course, then Pakistan came into the picture. They used to send their chaps across and say, बस लड़ाई करो शुरू और हमारे हैं आपके पीछे, and don't worry about these things. And so they provoked. And then he started saying, he says, this business of Anandpur Sahib resolution is okay, but ये तो, you know our history. If you want something, तलवार निकालनी पड़ेगी. He came down to that point. And that unfortunately started off the militant shooting and all this. Today's तलवार is a AK-47. बस वो इस्तेमाल करने लगे फिर मारने लगे. Then these youngsters who were without money and without any means started forming groups and doing what I told you, and also looting banks and looting people. And the worst was they started communalizing it. How many people? The first two incidents took place in my constituency, as my parliamentary. One was a village called Balbeda. There were 8 or 9 of these artiyas sunning themselves in the winter, and somebody came and shot them all. Then Laluru, which is just next to Ambala, here they came, 22 or 23 were shot. Dinwa, bus mein, maar diye. Then it started coming up on that thing. And despite that, you would find these Hindus, people in Darbar Sahib washing the floor. That is the irony of the whole thing. I found it. I used to always go and say, when I was walking and they were washing the floor, and it was freezing cold, it was January, and in fact that made me, I'll tell you a little incident. But anyway, I used to always go up to them and thank them for washing the floor, and they would have beta tu bhi lag gaya. So I'd take a bucket of mug of water and give it to them or something to do. But they were all on this. This was the Punjab never had this problem. This is created that time, which and ruined our state, and that ruination is still carrying on. Still have terrorists. You have these Bishnois and God don't know who all they are.
Are you surprised by what the US has done to Lawrence Bisnoy?
Why? 20 odd people they now, not only Vishnoi, they are other people, the Niger chaps, and the biggest fellow who's making a mess today is that fellow Pannu. He is the biggest SOB, if I can say that. I shouldn't be saying it on television. But he is really you know what he did to me? I was studying, I've written a book on the First World War, India's involvement. I had gone to Turkey because we had a brigade there. And I was in Gallipoli where the battle took place. I've got their books here also. And Kubiram, I was there, he said, the Turks had given, I was chief minister, they had given security. So their security man came to him and said, okay, there is a man in the village down there, 2 people. They are shouting slogans against your chief minister. Gallipoli, I said, small little village. Who the hell would know I'm in Turkey also? मैंने कहा पता तो करो कौन है. पता लगा it was this Pannu fellow. Where Mr. Pannu had come from, how he knew I was sitting in Turkey and how I was in Gallipoli. I'm studying the battle and he's saying he should be thrown out of Turkey and that sort of stuff and all. But anyway, he's the fellow who's doing today. He's that that's why I didn't meet Trudeau. Why didn't I meet Trudeau? because
One
Trudeau
was on
had
the list you had given to Canada?
they wouldn't allow me to go to Canada. But they wouldn't allow me, but Trudeau came to India.
Yeah.
And I said, I won't meet him. So they said, why? I said, because his defense minister, who I've already said no to, is a member of the World Sikh Organization, which is a Khalistani organization. And I'm not going to meet that defense minister. Then they said, the Trudeau said that I'm not going to meet Amarinder Singh when I go to Punjab. So then the Shushma told them, she was then the minister. She said, if you're going to Punjab, you can go. You can't go to Punjab because you're not meeting the chief minister. So if you meet the chief minister, you can go, otherwise you can't go. So eventually he had to meet me. So we met up in Amritsar. And I told him, I said, you've got these sort of, and he was sitting there, that fellow, the defense minister. So I said, before we talk, Mr. Prime Minister, my whole staff was there, my DG intelligence, all were with me. I said, here's a list of people of yours who are creating a problem for me. He said, what is this problem? I said, the problem is that you are supporting the Khalistani movement and they are creating a problem for me and for my country here. How would you like it if you belong to Quebec? If you lead a movement there to get free Quebec and you take it into Ottawa, are they going to like it there? Your country going to like it? Suppose we do that here in front of Vijay Chowk and say
Support Quebec.
So I said, what are you doing? Oh, he says, any of my ministers? I said, one is sitting here. I gave the ministers and whoever else were there. I said, here he's sitting, Mr. Sajjan.
How many names were there on that list?
I think I can ask Mr.
There were
No,
almost two
roughly.
dozen. There were almost 2 dozen because it included
One.
those people who wanted in the drug case also.
There were all sorts.
All sorts.
Khalistan is inclusive. But you know, that Sajjan's father was the chairman of the World Sikh Organization and he was a member. They are the ones who were anti-India. They were doing the Khalistani movement. And I said, he's sitting here, one of them. The rest, I don't know who they are, but here's their names. We have the name. We have
So we had
everything
all
here.
the names of our people there, or
Six there.
Basically,
only
NRIs.
six.
Six
Only
there.
six. Not the Canadian. Not the Canadian.
No, Canadian कोई नहीं
NRIs.
था. वो
अच्छा,
Canadian
okay.
6 थे. All Canadian 6.
But
Like-
what exactly is this? Why do NRIs are constantly for the past, like now I've been watching it for almost 2 decades, constantly trying to support the Khalistani movement here?
You know, the further you are from home, the more you feel sort of this sort of feeling coming up. I've seen that. I've seen it. I've talked to people also. They feel that all this propaganda that has been done is real, and now they should know better because telephone and communication is better. But nahi, abhi bhi unki soch hai that India is doing a lot of wrong on this issue. Unfortunately, I've asked people came to see me this time. Some of our people from Patiala, they were telling me it's cooling down. These people are from Scotland, and they were saying जितना पहले था वो नहीं अब लोग समझने लगे हैं. So that's a good sign.
Because it's 2017, I remember, when you brought the party to power, Congress to power. Plane loads of Sikhs had come from across the world to support the AAP campaign here.
Yeah, because AAP was talking this sort of language. They're still talking it. I mean, today what AAP is doing here, in his own way, this chief minister, he was a comedian, so he has a comedian way of talking, and that's the sort of thing he sells these sort of programs, and well, they've got quite a lot of support. AAP does have support.
But they're also talking about building Love Kush temples and all these things.
I don't know what he talks. I don't listen to what he talks because he
I mean,
talks
Kejriwal
nonsense.
was talking about setting up all these temples and
Temples here.
yeah, and making a big outreach to Hindus, in fact.
Oh, that way. Yeah. But I'll tell you something. These sort of things don't last for very long. I mean, at the moment, the Punjab polity has to put itself together. You got a Congress party which has got 9 chief ministers. You got a Akali Dal which has got 5 Akali Dals. I mean, how then obviously in the division of vote they will gain.
So let me talk about your party. That in that context, when it spoke about the Prime Minister condemning Operation Blue Star as an attack on the Akal Takht, and another minister from and a minister from Maharashtra calling those killed by the army in Operation Blue Star as martyrs. So obviously there is this outreach to the Sikhs in a different way.
Well, I can tell you this much. I have talked to the Prime Minister and the Home Minister, and of course Nadda when he was the President. And I don't know very many more. If tomorrow you put up the whole lineup, I don't know who's who in the BJP, except for a few people who I deal with. And I found them all very sympathetic and all very want to be proactive to bring things back to normal. And the PM certainly. I think PM has an advantage because he's been a Parbari here for so many years before. And I think Home Minister has obviously, that's his task, so he knows what's going on. I find him the same. Nadaji is same, but Nadaji is half Punjabi. He's from Bilaspur, so Himachal and Punjab. We were one state at one time. So these are. I have not found any negative aspect. I found all positive aspect in that, and that's what we are trying to tell people that you must understand that the BJP is not anti-Sikh. This trying
But
to
in
build
the
up.
process, you are trying to appease the radical elements when you start calling them martyrs. I mean, those killed in Operation Blue Star.
But who is saying calling them martyrs? That Bombay chap?
Yes, he's a minister,
Well,
and BJP has never distanced itself from him.
what can you do? You have funny people all over the place now. That chap, as I was telling you, it's like me going to Bombay and making a comment. What do I know about Bombay?
No, but there is also a theory that the film, like Satluj, when it is released and withdrawn, so it somehow politically with the elections just
Now
round the
that
corner
I don't know
helps
why they've
BJP.
done it. Had they left it there, this would have just passed through. The withdrawing it, and then saying that is going to be withdrawn. So by that time, everyone's recorded it, and even I've been sent it. I haven't seen it, but I've been sent it. So I will see it.
So I just want to understand. See, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, even at the peak of his popularity, could never have a sway over Punjab and Punjabis. I mean, how?
He's very much involved in Punjab and Punjabis because that's what I'm telling you. That I think the reason is because he was here for 3 years, I think, as a Prabhari of the as a
No, I'm talking about his popularity. Right? He could go and swing elections in any state. Just his persona was good enough.
well, Punjab is a different place. Punjab, even now, Punjab we won't sort of bend in front of anyone because somebody says something. It's I don't know how to explain Punjab. It's really right.
You can't explain Punjab.
No, but my question is, do you think that the BJP in Delhi, the central leadership, actually is also even trying to understand Punjab?
Oh yes, they do.
Are they?
They
Are
do.
they? Whom are they listening to? They're listening to Punjabis sitting in Delhi. Punjabis sitting in
Well,
Delhi are
that
very
I
different.
think is somewhere where they've gone wrong. I mean, bringing in Punjabis from Delhi or Haryana to run affairs in Punjab is not going to work.
You have the Chief
It'll
Minister of
never work.
Haryana wearing a pagdi and coming
यहाँ
for.
तो the people from Maja, if they want to come and work in Malwa, Malwais won't accept them. Or from Malwa, they go to Dwaba and they won't accept them. We are very localized in that score. So bringing a person from outside the state to come and run this thing doesn't make sense to me.
So coming back to my question, because it has been a riddle we have been thinking and discussing, we could never reach a conclusion. Why is Prime Minister Modi not so popular in Punjab?
Why do you say that? Because I don't think that. I don't get that impression that he is not popular in Punjab or that Home Minister is not popular.
The BJP couldn't really expand its footprints anywhere.
That is that is a thing which I agree with you in the sense that ever since the elections came, in the country. BJP has never fought it alone. Particularly after Punjabi Suba, after we became this way, they've never fought. They've always fought. Whenever they fought it with the Akalis as allies. This is the first time that they announced it. I'm against it. My feeling has been that we must have an alliance with the Akali Dal to form a government. And why do we need a government? Because we need proper leadership in the state. Things are not in a good way, and you have to have a good government to run that affairs. But otherwise, on its own, I don't see that BJP can form a government.
So if the BJP is serious about Punjab, how
Yesterday,
come?
the Prime Minister has announced. He's announced that हम सारी सीटें लड़ेंगे. अब तो that means there's no alliance.
Sir, if the BJP is so serious about Punjab, how come its biggest face and the biggest it can ever have is sitting here and talking with us, not campaigning out in the field?
No, campaigning has nothing to do with the BJP leadership. They've told me so many times. See, I left in 21. When I was in the army, I was on the Chinese border. Okay, this was the day that Panditji died. I think it was May or something like that. And we had a terrible storm, and there was snow in May, and we had snow. And as a youngster, we were always sent out on patrol. So the youngsters were given the job of patrolling, and I was patrolling, and I'd done that so many times, but we hadn't really taken it in your mind because you had a Pagdandi going to walk around the Pagdandi. Wahan us din there was black ice underneath and white on top, and I put my foot there and my foot slipped, and I went 50 foot down, and I hit my back. There were a lot of stones underneath, so the stone hit the back, and then the doctor gave me something and all. ठीक हो गया. About 3-4 years before I left the Congress, I started getting back problems. And it came to a point that when I was speaking, I could suddenly get pain and I couldn't continue standing. And I had to sit down and speak. And I thought that was very stupid to sit down and speak. Then I had to go and have it cut. So they did my surgery. And they felt that my 3 spine, whatever they called, had shrunk. Vertebrae had shrunk. And the nerves inside had been blackened, pins pressed. So then it's taken 4 years for that to get. Every year I had to have an injection. Even now I've had it done. And 4 years for it to get me walking. And then foolishly, I think, but I thought elections are around the corner. While my knee is giving trouble, knee isko bhi kara lo. So I had my knee done only a month ago. And that's why I've got a stick. But otherwise, before that, I was walking fine. So hopefully in another 2 months, I'll be walking. So वो तो मेरा काम. उन्होंने नहीं, वो तो रोज ही कहते हैं चलो. Even yesterday they told me come, Prime Minister is coming. I said I don't want 2 sticks and go in front of the whole of Punjab with sticks. They'll say the Buddha ho gaya.
No, so your involvement is as a showpiece. So Captain Amarinder Singh is with us, or are you part of the decision-making process? Whatever is done.
No, I'm not in that. I know we have a different system to what I'm used to. 60 years I was in the Congress, including that Akali Dal thing. And it was a different system of working. Here they don't ask you. They just tell you what to do. That's the difference. Nobody's asked me. Nobody said you've been here 60 years. अब candidates के बता दो किसको लगाना है पटियाला में किसको लगाना है लुधियाना में किसी ये आदमी लुधियाना लड़ेगा ये नहीं ऐसा चलता है.
Is it good or bad, sir?
This system?
Yeah.
No, this is not a good system at all. I mean, as you are telling me, somebody in Bombay is commenting about my state. What does he know about my state? Likewise, when you decide on who are going to be candidates from Punjab, you have to know that somebody in Punjab should tell you, कि इसको भी देख लो. Take our views. Say DK has to be from Jalandhar. Amarinder Singh has to be from Ludhiana. And then you decide. Then you say, no, we don't want it, we want so and so. That's okay. But हमारी views तो ले लो, views तो कोई लेता ही नहीं. I'm busy writing books, that's all.
In your study room or book writing room, I don't know. We'll talk about it in one is your China room. We're writing a book on China and another on that. We'll ask you about that later.
See, I've done
But
7 books so far.
so, sir, before that, I just wanted to talk about, I
Hmm.
saw a portrait, nice portrait of Rajiv Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi,
Yeah.
signed by Rajiv Gandhi.
So, Sonia.
Oh, sorry, Sonia Gandhi. No,
That was, I asked for that book,
okay.
that picture after Rajiv passed away.
Hmm.
And I told Sonia, I said, please give me a picture of both of you.
Hmm.
Then she gave me this picture.
So that
Very sweet
reminded
of her.
me of your comment, which triggered a lot of interest. That Rahul still keeps calling you for with birthday greetings or whatever. I mean, he keeps it open.
I'll tell you something. In this country, for some reason, everyone feels that if you are in a particular party, the other party is dead, which you've been in. Is forget it, unko chodo. Don't even talk to them. Don't even have a cup of coffee with them. Don't even say hello to them. Only this your own party you can meet. That's not the way life is. You have your personal life and you have a political life. I don't know if you've seen a picture called First Among Equals. You've seen it. When you know what I mean. 3 best friends, 3 different heads of 3 different parties. And they go according to their parties. But otherwise, they're the best of friends. यहाँ नहीं है. Yeah, when I joined the parliament, we were 7 of us from the defence services. Jyotirmay Rai Basu, there was General Sparrow, there was KP Singhdeo, myself,
1980.
Rajesh Pilot, and 2 more. And once a month we used to meet across party lines to see what can we do for the services. And that is the way it should be. यहाँ नहीं है. यहाँ तो अगर, like for instance, Chitleen and I had just fought the elections in Amritsar. And he came to the Raj Sabha, and one day we met I was going into the toilet and he was coming out of the toilet. So he said, hello, and I said, hi, Arun, how are you? And then he said, we must meet. Yeah. So I said, yeah, let's meet. I didn't know what his likes and dislikes were. Of course, I used to bump into him in Amritsar. And so he told me, he said, how about tomorrow, Saturday, शाम को मिलते हैं. मैंने कहा मैं आ जाता हूँ. तो he was a great buff of military history.
Oh,
And that's how we used to discuss nothing, no politics, only military history. But if today you do that, they'll say, why did you go and say? Now today I can tell you this. Mrs. Gandhi and the children, both of them, I've known them since they were born. In fact, I know their father when they were in school with me. Now, if Mrs. Gandhi was to ask me anything that, Amarinder, I need your help in something personal, or the children would ask, I would go and help them. What is the harm in that?
If she asks you to
Not
help her politically,
not
okay,
political.
Amarinder, come back and okay, not
No,
political.
I can't do that.
But when
That I politically, no. Privately, yes. I would do anything if they were asked. I mean, when you've known somebody all your life, how can you just say, I'm not going to meet them? If any of my colleagues of the Congress in Punjab had a problem and they need my support, other than politics, I would help them.
No going back to Congress.
I feel a bit let down in one way. I knew there was little rumblings going on because there were some people who were habitual rumblers, and the government before they had done it, and they were sent back from Delhi. Go back. There's no change in Punjab. This time when it happened, I knew there were some rumblings going on. So I asked for time. And before we discussed, I said, here's my resignation. So she said, why do you want to resign? I said, ma'am, because I hear this, that you want to change. She said, no. Who's told you this? I said, rumblings are there. As it happened, Rawat, our General Secretary, was there. So she said, Rawat ko bhejo. Rawat, what am I hearing? मैंने तो सुना नहीं. मैं क्या तेरे नहीं सुना, तू तो इसमें घुसा हुआ है. You are one of the people who want me out.
Harish Rawat.
I told Harish Rawat. So he says, नहीं जी मैं तो ASN है. He and a few others, they were at the Delhi level. So anyway, that's why I said, she said, no, you have to take the party into the elections.
That was in 21.
21 election.
months before your
नहीं,
resignation.
election, जब election से I resigned in 21. Yeah,
Yeah.
तभी था.
Elections were in 22. He's
22.
talking about the period when.
Yeah, just before. So I then said, very well, ma'am, if you want me to, go and do it. So where you are sitting, I was sitting in the morning and reading the papers, and a call came. She says, first I got a call from a friend who says, why have you called a CLP meeting? I said, I haven't called a meeting. Say, why have you called it? Everyone has been called all night to say that 4 o'clock you reach the Congress office. I said, they can't call it without the CLP leader knowing how I'm the leader. So anyway, I thought it was strange and maybe a mistake. Then I got a call from her at about 7ish in the morning, and she said, Amarinder, I'm Sonia. I said, yes ma'am, what can I do? She says, I think you should resign. I said, that's fine. I said, I'll take time. So I took time with the governor and went and resigned. So it's her party. She wants a change. That's okay with me. But my feeling was this, where I felt hurt, was that a meeting is called without me knowing, and to remove me. And therefore, 4 o'clock was the meeting. I think 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock I resigned. Otherwise, they were going to remove me.
So, sir,
Now that I thought was a bit.
general perception it was the siblings' love for Navjot Sidhu probably. What exactly was the problem?
I don't know how Sidhu was used to meet them, but I don't think Sidhu was the cause. I think there was a greater cause. There was a little group that had been formed. I'll tell you. One is that chap who's now. Had Ahmed Patel been there, this would never have happened. This other chap, Venu Gopal.
K.C. Venugopal.
Gopal. Then there was that Haryana chap, Randeep Surjewala, and there was a group there that wanted me
What did
out.
they have against
So
you?
I just, whatever their views were, I don't know. Maybe I didn't, Ahmed was not only a general secretary and the confidant of Mrs. Gandhi and her assistant, but he was also a friend of mine. We joined parliament the same day.
It is, yeah.
In 2020, when did I join? 1980, 80 was parliament. 80, Rajesh Pilot, Ahmed, myself, we all came, the first term was then in parliament. So that was the thing. Then I felt that is a bit much. That after 60 years and somebody otherwise also, you could have accepted my resignation. It would have gracefully been done, found somebody else.
Mr. Sunil Jakhar, subsequently there was this whole thing about Sunil Jakhar, being projected as chief minister, then Mr. Channi and Sukhjinder Randhawa, and this whole confusion that followed. What you think that the thing is true that Punjab can never have a non-Sikh chief minister?
No, I disagree with that. This is absurd. We are one country now. How can you suddenly say that you can't have a Christian, or you can't have a Muslim, or you can't have a Hindu, or you can't have this is nonsense. Is this country going to grow or not? I think we should go beyond that, and we should now look at being one country.
How do you react to this?
Not breaking up into these silly things.
So how do you react to Mr. Jakhar being removed and Keval Dhillon being made the head of the party here?
Well, I've given my views. I think Keval is not suited. Keval is a friend of mine, but he's never been fit for politics. I've made him so many things in my time. He's never been successful in them. 5 times I think we fought Barnala and lost 3 times. I made his son a president of some organization there. He never even opened his office for months. So that is not. And why shouldn't Sunil be? Sunil is a very fine man, very capable person. He was assistant to his father when he was speaker and a minister in Punjab. And so he's come up that way. He knows the functioning and all, and he's a very fine man. and he's a very able person. So क्यों नहीं उसको बनाना है? क्यों किसी कोई और बन जाए? Anyone becomes from any community. I think, India has to grow out of this. You can't keep it this way.
So, what next for you in terms as a military historian? And you're always something onto something. What are you writing on now?
2 books. I started off on the possibility of a military clash between India and China. But that I started off some years ago. But then when India, I call it India can't make up its mind. Are we friends? Are we not friends? What are we? So you have to tune your book in that direction. So that is China. So I've done about 250 pages, but it'll require about another 150.
So until 250 pages, how do you look at China, friend?
I'm not going to tell you today. You can read it.
What is the second book?
Second book is on the Anglo-Sikh Wars, because there is a lot of discrepancy in the history that's emerged. And then the history which has emerged is the pro-British history, because they're the ones who write, the winners write and the losers never write anything. And now I was trying to find it to balance the sides out, that why did it happen. We had 72 infantry battalions in the East India Company which fought. Out of those, leaving 5, the rest mutinied in 1857. But the record should be somewhere, because we are talking of 7 years before mutiny. And I want those records. I want to balance both sides. Here it's the dragoons have charged and the 617 Lancers have done this and blah blah. What about our boys who died? They fought against me, not me, because Patiala was not part of it, but certainly against the Sikh forces. And they should have, somebody should have recorded that. वो अब मैं कोशिश कर रहा हूँ.
As a historian, and I'm connecting it to this film Satluj, do you think some memories really need to be put to rest, or we need to keep talking about them and keep them
I think
alive?
you should put in, as I suggested earlier, put in a commission and let's open it up. Open it up and catch anyone. Anyone in the police who's got off the hook, catch him. Anyone, and let him be face the music. And get an eminent group of 3 judges or somebody, really people who are known to be eminent, and let them go through this whole thing.
Something which is both neutral and objective and looks at
Yes,
both
and
the-
I know people here, judges here, who would be happy to do this, who have retired, and let them do this, and bring out it in the open. People, if you bring these eminent people and people who are well thought of in the community, the youngsters will accept it. At the moment, they are not accepting it. They think that is absolute correct, and what happened to Khalra happened to the whole of Punjab, which is not correct. It should be given in the true perspective.
As your second stint as chief minister, this whole thing about sacrilege was something which was in focus. You think that in the past, almost now 2015 onwards, religion has been the focus of Punjab, and politics around it has been the central to Punjab politics. You think it's a good thing that that sacrilege? We talk about sacrilege. It happened in 2015, almost as if it happened yesterday. It has been kept alive in public memory for political reasons, and Congress came to power largely on that. But those issues have not died down, or those issues have not.
And I know here it's lying here. This is Bargadi, Babel Kala, all the firings and shooting. I was only going through it yesterday to put them away these are non-classified reports which I had brought along with me. And the Babel Kalam, Bargadi, Kot Kapura, whatever the findings are all here. So, yes, it should be, there should be, but you would have to do more than that. At the moment, the feelings are, let me say today, this Satluj is having a major impact on the people. And not only on the youngsters who have don't know this area, and they are only looking at it as something that happened in Punjab and it was done by the government of India and done by so and so and on. But it's even the older generation. are responding to this, which I find it strange because they were part of the game at that time, part of what was happening in Punjab.
But when
Can it lead to polarization, sir, Hindu or along Hindu Sikh lines?
Hope not. I hope not. I don't think so, but I hope not. I don't think so. Not polarization, but certainly anti-government feelings to hongi. If today
Anti-government,
anti-security forces and government, both government that did it, sent the army in and all, it is still there. This will bring Blue Star out again. It's not going to end at this only. After all, Blue Star was, you can understand by this that when Blue Star happened, chalo, I was a youngster. I got worked up or whatever and I resigned. And I think it wrong because I had also made a contribution towards bringing peace, which never took place. So, mera chodo. What happened to Khushwant Singh? Why did he return his medals, his orders? Why did General Harbakh Singh, who had just finished the war with Pakistan, why did he return his medals? General Arora, why did he return his medals? He brought Bangladesh into India. Even it affected even the upper generation. So why not the youngsters will definitely get affected?
So, what about the rising gangsterism in Punjab? What do you think is the solution for that?
Look, as far as gangsters are concerned, there is no solution. It has to be they have to be dealt with. If they pick up weapons and shoot people and do this, then the answer is that they have to be eliminated. There is no other system, and they are being fed, of course, as you know, by the other side, by weapons and all this sort of thing. And there's a link up. It's the gangsters, drugs, all this is together.
What about the unholy alliance between radicals and now gangsters?
Same. Radicalism and they are the ones involved in gangsterism. They are the ones involved in drugs. It's all a thing. And then basically it starts with economics.
When you were
I mean, today your farm holdings are so small, people can't survive. And then you're showing them all these beautiful things on what's happening in the world, and they all wonder what about us. And in fact, interestingly, when I was coming back at the airport, one chap bumped into me and he ran up and said hello. He's from Patiala, Sonor. So मैं क्या, what are you doing here? He said, sir, मैं हूँ Italy, मैं अपनी ज़मीन बेच के, I've got 25 acres in which I bought, and I grow tomatoes. So I said, what do you do then? He says, I grow tomatoes through the year, even in the winter, and I supply these Italian firms with this. And मेरे नो रब दी कृपा है, बहुत हो गया अच्छा, nice and all. Now I said, how much acres did you have? He had 4 acres. Now he's got 25 acres. So people hear these stories and they want to go and make something for themselves.
Agriculture has come to a standstill in Punjab. You were pushing for a lot of industrialization, but somewhere along the line, that too seems to have
Industrialization.
Yes.
I think that's because the us pushing for more. Mr. This MP now, he's become from in Sangrur, his factory, Trident. Then all the other big houses in Punjab, they are moving out of Punjab. He has gone to Chhattisgarh. Some has gone to Madhya Pradesh. Somebody's gone to Rajasthan. Nobody wants to, because here they are insecure with these gangsterisms and all this happening. And then close to the Punjab-Pakistan border. That's worse. Why did Sardar Pratap Singh Kairo? He had done 2 things. One, he had brought our industrial belt into Faridabad and Gurgaon, away from Pakistan, because he knew Pakistan is not tension rehni hai. That you given to Haryana. Then your hydroelectric power and your forest wealth and tourism department, we've given to Himachal. Who's done this? Mr. Badal. And I think if somebody ever writes, you should write a book on what Badal had done to ruin Punjab. He's absolutely finished us off. And then he doesn't have the courage to stand. Toda and I never got on. Because Toda was from Patiala, I was from Patiala, and it is a common political base. He was Akali, I was Congress. So, but Toda, if you talk to him and you came to an understanding, and he couldn't do it. 2 days later, I'd get a call to say, we talked about this. This is the reason I can't do this much. So if you don't mind, let's reopen this issue and talk about it. Prakash Singh Badal would go and swear on everything holy and dump you in a minute. I brought the Kalidals together when we formed the Panthi committee, and then I brought them together. And the first one he cut from the ticket was me. It's good on his part, because once it was, I wouldn't have been chief minister otherwise. So, but he just mera hi uda diya na. So he's that sort of fellow. Sukhbir is not like that. Sukhbir is a person, if he says something, he stands by his word, not like his father.
Sir, has Punjab reached a point of no return?
No, I don't agree. I think if Delhi understands our problems, which they do by and large, but they'll have to be a bit more open-hearted, bigger-hearted to do something for Punjab. Basically, it's the youngsters who are coming out. We are turning out so many children from our universities and colleges and all. Now this university here is open, Chandigarh, 30,000 kids in it. इतने ही हैं और Jalandhar में. So many children are coming out. Where do they go? What do they do?
So I understand you have some issues with Agniveers also.
Yes,
There,
I am against it. I am against it for two reasons. One, you cannot make a soldier in 4 days, 4 years. I was an officer. I had to do 3 years at the NDA, 1 year at the IMA. Then I had to be a platoon commander. That's a JCO's job. But my CO put us through the platoon. And 1 year he kept us as platoon commanders. That's 5 years, so that we get to what we've learnt in the academy, put on the ground with our troops. And then you came as a company officer and went on courses and whatever you did. So 5 saal mein to we were not trained as officers, educated people. You think a little boy who comes with 4 years training as a soldier, who is he dealing with? He's going to be deal with highly professional soldiers across the border in China. And Pakistan doesn't have Agniveer. They have these Tagda Pathans. And here you're putting these youngsters up against them with hardly any training. And their second part was, we used to have a Lance Naik with one stripe, say with about 8 or 9 years service. The second stripe with about 12 or 14, 13 years service. And you became a Havaldar at about 17, 16, 17. A Naib Subedar at about 21, 22. ये तो रिटायर करके भी ट्रेनिंग करके भी 4 साल में भेज देते हो. Now what are they going to do? Half of them you want to take into CRP or BSF or wherever you want to take them. What about the other half? They have no job to do. They are trained only to shoot people. So they will join these gangsters, whoever they are, and they'll or form gangs of their own.
so in the context of Punjab, you find it more serious.
Absolutely wrong. Absolutely. And I met the Defence Minister. I told him, this is wrong. Both from the military point of view. Yesterday, or day before yesterday, in the papers I was reading, there's a fresh look being taken on this. So what they're going to look, I don't know, but it was just a little snippet.
So what kind of implications do you see it for Punjab?
Very bad, because they are going to come back. I've got 13,200 villages. Every village has these boys there. My regiment, in fact, my regiment is short. We are 10,000 soldiers short. And then that's the Sikh regiment. Then you have the Sikh light infantry. Then you have the Punjab regiment. Then you have pure Sikh artillery. You have cavalry. You have, for instance, Skinner's horse, which is our first horse. It's got 3 squadrons. 2 squadrons are Sikhs. So like that, you have a hell of a lot of Sikhs. There's no village that there isn't. And then they want to join what their fathers were or grandfathers were and go back to the regiments and all that. Now, when you are sending now Agniveers, if you send them regular, fine. Let them go through the process. But if you put Agniveers and send them, and then let them go after 4 years, what are they going to do? This is the only profession they know. They will again pick up the weapon. And then you're going to have a growth of terrorism, a growth of gangsterism here. Akhirkar, what is the objective? Objective is to make money for themselves. And that's what gangsters are doing, and these chaps here.
Regarding this drugs issue, I mean, a lot of things, a lot of criticism now, of course, post the fact that you had, sworn on a gutka, and people do remember that. Why you think that even after
You know,
4.5
swearing on the
years,
gutka, they must understand also what I did. It was a major issue in our election manifesto, drugs and terrorism. Terrorism hadn't come in, but drugs certainly. It was becoming. I was telling you the story of 4 young girls sitting and smoking. That was what really struck me when I made this. And we were near Damdama Sahib and some public meeting. And one of my boys, very nice person, Sethi, he's an MLA, he was there, and he was very religious. He always carried a gutka sahib with him. So when it suddenly struck me that I should make something known publicly, so I told Sikhi, I said, are you carrying a gutka sahib? He said, yes. I said, Mandev, you gave it to me. So I said, I swear by the gutka sahib that I will break the back of this thing, this drugs. And then the moment our government was formed, I got hold of one officer I had a lot of confidence in, Harpreet Sidhu. He was doing the Naxal activity in Chhattisgarh. So I asked the Home Ministry, they sent him to me. I made him head of that. And then we formed SITs. Now, unfortunately, all this business Badal had sent to the CBI. He got rid of it. It took me 3 years after passing a resolution in the Assembly to get the papers back. And that took us a little time. But he kept working. So our everything is ready. It was in court, under investigation in full. I told him, I said, you take anything you want, take any number of people you want, and get it going. And he did it. But unfortunately, things take so long. Now they are in court. They are in court. But it's going to take another many years.
no, that is one particular case where almost as if the entire drug problem was on the shoulders of, was being carried out by Mr. Bikram Majithia, and that if you sorted that out, things would be solving themselves. What about the availability of drugs, the consumption of drugs as a problem?
Pakistan, there's no other solution. Then government has to get its drug. The only way, you see, as I was saying earlier, the border is fairly sealed with CRPF and BSF and all that sort of thing. But when they fly over you, they can't do anything about it till you do some drones or whatever you have
Technology,
to do to neutralize it, like the Israelis are doing or something. Some drone cover or something, they call it Iron Dome or something like that. Something to stop those drones coming, because they bring the stuff in, and then they form the gang. Now Pakistan sends it to gang number 1. So gang number 1 is told, you go and wait there, and it's coming at 4 o'clock in the morning or something, and it lands. It drops it. Actually, they don't land in most cases. They let them down by a cable, and when afterwards some signal is given, and they pull the cable up and go back. Some of them, of course, land, and some are shot down also. Few are shot down, but very, very few. So that answer is just to keep the drug stop coming. You know, we caught also not only this, but in Kandla, we got. I think the police got whoever it was, Coast Guard. They got a huge shipload of drugs coming. So that is also happening. So it is all over the place. But for us, it's basically this Pakistan.
Question from me is from a different kind of history. I mean, as the former Yuvraj of Patiala,
Patiala
what
Peg.
is Patiala Peg? What this Patiala Peg? All talk about Patiala. Where did it start?
I'll tell you how it started.
Yeah.
My grandfather was what do they call them, chairman of the cricket control board or something. वो होता था. Then my father was also, he captained India 32 to 35, and then he was chairman of the cricket board and all. So cricket was part of Patiala's life. And this was, I think, the New Zealand team or Australian team had come to play in Patiala. We had a person who was the coach of Patiala team, was an Australian, I think it was an Australian team. So my grandfather had a very good, in fact, Patiala had 7 All India caps. There was Mohammad Nisar, a fast bowler, Amar Singh, fast bowler. There was Wazir Ali and Amir Ali, 2 opening bats. Then there was Amarnath, had just his first game he played was this one, which we are talking about.
I see. Okay.
And he told me the story. He said, your grandfather called us and he said, come here, all of you. He said, now you go home, have your dinner and go to sleep. And I want you in bed early and tomorrow on the field early.
And Lala Amarnath.
Lala Amarnath. So, and don't do any gadbad today. No drinking and no nothing, you know. And as far as the other Sardars, he called them. And there was a dinner for the Australians. So they inko dab ke pulao. And dab ke pulao. Australians. And so that's how it happened. And then they said, "Ji kinna pulao, ye kenne enna pulao." And that was Patiala peg.
Oh,
And from there it started. So that much whiskey and about this much water. So the Aussies were seeing 2 balls coming every day. Every morning.
Say it's what, 120 ml? What is it supposed to be?
I don't know. They just everyone says this. You take it in that much in a glass.
On that note, sir, thank you very much. It's always so insightful. We have so much to learn every time
it's
we
always a
talk to you.
pleasure talking to you.
You don't
yes.
mince your words, and that's why I keep coming to you. So until our next conversation, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
No,
Thank you
pleasure.
so much.
Pleasure. It's nice to see you all again.
Thank you
And
so
come
much.
back again that time, and that time you're coming. And I'll show you the Patiala plug in the evening.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.